Hey everybody, my name is Adam Neely, and I'm here with my friend Ben Levin, and this is How to Not Suck at Music. And Ben! So our first submission is from Peter M Hughes, who sent a composition for us to check out, and are you ready to check this out, Ben?
I'm ready.
Okay, good. Let's check that out. No flute player I know on the face of the earth, or bass clarinet player I know, would be able to play any of that. Those 30-second notes at whatever tempo that was. That sounded really cool, but not really physically playable.
You could get the effect of having the clarinet and flute playing these wild, cloudy textures together by sort of saying, well, this is the approximate rhythm, and these are the notes I think you'd use, and just kind of go for it with your fingers, because I think you'll get a really, really similar result that way. And it's all about the transition from that cloudy texture to the more rigid, like unison type texture that happens after it. I think the piece is much more about that contrast than it is about the very specifics of the notes in the cloudy texture.
I also noticed that in the cloudy texture and all that crazy stuff, you have all of these double stops. In other words, the flute player and the bass clarinet player are expected to play more than one note at a time. It's not something that they can physically do, and it sounds to me that you just inputted a lot of notes and liked how it sounded. And that's one of the great powerful things, I think, about like modern notational software, is you can just input a bunch of stuff and just to hear how it sounds. And to me, it sounds really cool. Like the effect, like the general sound of this piece of music, to me is really cool. I just don't think it's physically playable by humans.
If you took out the double stops and had ample rehearsal time, or if your best friend is a virtuoso flute player, then it is conceivable that this could be performed at some point in the future. But like, I think on a practical level, you don't want to be confined to the need to have a world-class virtuoso playing your piece.
You know, flute players could conceivably play this fast, but they need something idiomatic to play. And when you have all these like doubled notes and things like these contours in the melodic line that are just all up and down the place and random doublings here and there, it's not very idiomatic. What would be more idiomatic is maybe like wide arpeggios.
Yeah, I'm the clarinet.
You're the clarinet?
It might be cool to reinforce some of this with a mix of electronics and acoustic instruments. Like you might want to have the flute and clarinet part actually be played by synths, and everyone's playing to a click or something.
It's easy to be seduced by the Sibelius and notational software sounds, because what you think something will sound like won't sound like it when it's done by humans. But anyway, thank you for your submission. Let's check out the next one. We're checking out Simon von Roij. Roij, I'm sorry, I messed up the pronunciation. He's 15, he's Irish, and we're going to teach him how to not suck. That sounds very like predatory. Like, I'm going to teach you how to not suck.
He's 15, he's Irish, and we're going to teach him. So Simon, I think you'd benefit from focusing a little more on articulation and the way that you differentiate each note from the next. So if you listen to each note you play, besides the pitch from note to note, what other ways can you make a note different? Like you could make some notes long, some notes short. You could slide into some notes, or you could make some notes louder and quieter. Just think about all the little details you could add from note to note to create a bit more lyrical phrasing and some more variety in your sound.
You know, I think you could stand to practice quarter notes within the backing track that you were playing to, just literally playing the minor pentatonic scale with quarter notes. just quarter notes, nothing fancy, no eighth notes. Oh, wow, that's fancy. Just quarter notes, really just pulses, so that you can then focus on the articulation. And then that's kind of like your focus for when you're practicing. You're not worrying about anything else because you already know the minor pentatonic scale pretty well. So you're just focusing on the articulation part. And I think that would be a great way for you to practice this sort of thing. And yeah, let's check out something. Let's check out something else. Okay, so this one is from Simone de Pascalis, and it's he's playing a cover of a band. It's kind of an obscure band. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of them. Maybe you've heard of them. I don't know. We'll find out.
There's a lot I haven't heard of.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you haven't heard of this one.
Oh yeah.
So Ben is actually in this band. He's in the band Bent Knee, and he's going to teach you how to not suck at playing that. So
it's really cool that you learned that. Just a few changes. So first of all, I don't use the full bar chord. I actually just do a spread voicing. So it's the 1, 5, skip the D string, and then you got the 3 of the chord, and then the rest is all just muted with my index finger. And so that allows me to play it really hard, because a really important thing with this intro is that it's played hard. And then when you get to this D chord, I'm not barring that either. So when you bar it, it becomes a D major 7, and that's a little bit more dreamy than I was hoping. I just leave out the B and E strings, and I have those muted, just like with the F sharp minor. And I can hit it real hard and get that baseball bat crack that makes it even go out of tune a little bit.
Ben's saying that you should have crack, so that's exactly... Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, baseball crack.
Baseball crack.
Like the pros.
Like
That's
the
how they
pros.
get so good. Yeah, you have open strings on the... da 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 da. You have open strings on these. You have the B string ringing. And then you have the E string ringing. But there's no B and E string otherwise. Just when they're ringing for those parts. So yeah, in summary, play it really hard. Use the spread voicing here, and then don't bar the top 2 strings when you're playing the D, and you'll be all set.
Yay! So, okay.
In between each thing, we're just like,
okay, all right, okay.
That was all right.
Okay. Shake it off. Okay, I got you. Okay. We got it.
Those
man.
bass fingers.
Oh, God, okay.
Let me be your fretboard.
Okay, so the next... It's a funny thing.
That's a nice movie. There's
Brumby.
What is it? Everyone Likes Mary, or what is it?
I think that's Josh Groban. Will you lift me up?
That sounds like my dad.
Yeah, Josh Groban's great. Guys, you should get on the Josh Groban train. The next one's from Dwayne Brumby, and he sent this video, and he wants to know a little bit more about maybe changing the harmony in it, I guess, is what he wants.
I think this arrangement sounds really good on Guitar Pro, and it very well may sound really good in real life, but I think it depends a lot on what musicians you have playing it. So if your drummer is super, super loud with the cymbals, that's going to potentially make things balance much differently than they do here in Guitar Pro, because right now the drums are very contained and small, which I think is making the melody come out nice and clear. The rhythm guitar will also be maybe hazardous when you play it live, because the rhythm guitar frequencies and the lead guitar frequencies are going to be clashing a lot.
I know you like really want to like make the harmony more complicated, I guess. I think you said that in the email, but you know, simple does not mean bad and complicated does not mean good, especially when you're making something complicated for the sake of making it complicated. The musical idea here is really clean, concise, simple, punchy, and I really enjoyed it. Now, if you were to continue this piece of music, yeah, you might want to change up the harmony a little bit, but as it is, I think it's great. Consider like changing the key to something fairly unrelated, and this is something that happens a fair amount in like 80s rock, like I know Jesse's Girl and whatever that song by The Outfield, Your Love, they go to like the flat 3. So in this case, you're kind of in the key of A minor or C, so you would kind of switch to the key of C minor or E flat for like a later section, for like a bridge section, just to do simple chord progressions in a different key, but still simple chord progressions, and then come back around to the simple chord progressions to finish the whole thing off. And I think it's a really effective tool. And I think that would just be the only thing that you really need to change with this if you wanted to keep going, if you wanted to make a much longer song. But I dug it.
And you can switch around arrangements. So maybe you have a melody that's like ba-da-do-da-da-da-da, and you divide between instruments. So one goes ba-da-do, and then the next goes da-da-do, and then the next goes da. You know, ba-da-do-da-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da, you know, stuff like that.
Let's do that. Ba-da-da-da-da.
Okay. Ba-da-da.
Da-da-da.
Da. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Exactly.
Yeah, like that. So thank you for your submission, Dwayne. And yeah, let's check out the last one. And yeah, it's been a wild ride.
I can't believe how wild it's been.
It's been a great YouTube video so far. I think it's been good.
I feel fully nourished.
Yeah, that Indian food that we had earlier was quite good, but I don't think that nourishment. I think it's more about the nourishment of this.
It's friendship.
Experience. It's friendship.
Yeah.
It really is friendship.
I can't believe how lonely I am normally.
I know, but this one day a year that we get together, we finally experience what it's like to have friends. It's good. Mm-hmm. So Daniel Mould. Daniel submitted a composition, or no, a reworking of a reharm of Fawn by Tom Waits, and I think we're going to check this out. He wrote it for his fiancée, and yeah, we're going to make Daniel's dreams come true.
Yay! Thank you,
guess.
Daniel, for your dreams.
Yeah, so I'm going to stop this real quick right here. This high concert F, which would actually be a D on the alto saxophone, sounds okay in the Sibelius playback, but when it's played by live musicians, it's really high. You don't really want a really screaming alto saxophone at the beginning of your nice tender reharmonization of a Tom Waits song, or maybe you do, but I'm pretty sure that's not the effect. Definitely don't want it on sax, but maybe you want a Ben Levin to do it for you.
Just call me up.
So maybe hire Ben to play your wedding. So I would suggest changing this alto and the clarinet down an octave. The lower register clarinet actually sounds really nice. It's called the Chamelot register, not the ShamWow register, the Chamelot register.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yes. So if you just lower both the alto sax and the clarinet down for that first phrase, I think that actually changes it. So let's continue watching.
Just to nitpick a little here, at measure 5, it might be cool if in the last 2 eighth notes that if you took violin 2 down an octave and then had measure 6 of violin 1 be what violin 2 plays, and measure 6 of violin 2 be what violin 1 plays. So that way, the top melody of violin 1 stays on top. It continues to be what draws people's ear in the most. And then violin 2, you've got that E and F, those last 2 eighth notes are doubling violin 1 down an octave, so you have less potential intonation problems.
The other thing I wanted to mention is beat 4 of bar 6. The chord that you have is a nice idea, but at the same time to me is a little unclear. You have a minor ninth between the D and the cello and the E flat in violin 2, which is the lead. And that's okay, and that chord as it is in just the string quartet, it's kind of dissonant, but at the same time it's something that, you might like. I don't know. It depends on the circumstance. But that full fat E flat chord that you have, of E flat major 7 chord that you have in the piano, it kind of clashes, I feel like, with the string quartet, and there's going to be some real intonation issues on that beat. And I know these things might seem like nitpicks, but it's really the devil is in the details when it comes to orchestration. Yeah, let's keep listening. Cool. This is definitely great wedding music. I think Ben and I are going to go and dance to this real quick. So while you guys listen to it, let's go dance. gonna be a cool chord.
Oh.
Holy that chord was awesome, that B major 7. That part that your trumpet player is going to have to play, that is incredibly high. You're going to need a really good trumpet player, and it's going to completely drown out the rest of the ensemble. That's going to be a really hilarious moment in your wedding when this trumpet player is just having screech trumpet while you're walking down the aisle or whatever. I really like that moment. You should keep that in, and you should insist for your fiance that you're going to play this arrangement. You're going to hear nothing but trumpet at this moment. It's going to be just, you're going to bathe in screech trumpet. I love it.
What if it was down an octave on that particular note, but the alto sax picks it up?
Even still, a high B flat, like not even high B flat, but a B flat above the staff on a trumpet is actually a lot louder and more intense than you might think, especially for like a really strong lead trumpet player. They can really project a simple B flat above the staff. I like this arrangement, man. There's just a couple of these like little minor details that I think could be cleaned up a little bit, but it's nice. I think both Ben and I enjoy it.
We wish you and your future wife all the best.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of How to Not Suck at Music. If you'd like to submit an entry, please email me at howtonotsuckatmusic@gmail.com. Entries should have some sort of video component and be between 1 and 2 minutes in length. If I don't select your entry, it's not because it's not good. This is not a competition. I'm merely selecting the entries that I feel like I can comment on meaningfully. So thank you for watching, and thank you so much to all of my Patreon patrons that make this channel possible. And until next time... Peace.